sempre consigo em todo o mundo.
Boa noite a todos, bem-vindos ao programa Tessitura da Palavra. Estamos hoje a transmitir em multiplataforma, como habitualmente, no Facebook, YouTube, no X, no Mixcloud e também no nosso site em www.radiomovimento.pt. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Hoje vamos ter connosco o Stuart, que é fundador da Meatball, e vamos começar por lhe perguntar o que é isto. Be very welcome, Stuart. How are you today? Can you please tell us in a nutshell what is Meatball?
Thank you, Sarah. Meatball is a platform where anyone who draws a dream or a wish or needs to accomplish something can ask for help. It's a simple platform where you might express how can someone help you so that the people in your community can reply with two simple things. Either I can help, and they reach out to you directly, privately, or me too, I have the same problem, let's get together and solve it. So it's a platform to just bring people together around shared dreams and goals.
Diz-nos o Stuart que é uma plataforma que serve para as pessoas se unirem, onde podem, por um lado, pedir ajuda e também, por outro lado, podem encontrar pessoas que estão numa situação semelhante. And Stuart, the experience that brought you here to this show is that you first started to write like a decentralized book, and then in time you just came to founding a kind of startup very different, and I would like you to tell us more about this.
Okay, so my journey that led to Meatball started, let's say, all my life I have been building businesses, and in many sectors, in many cultures, in many countries, and at some point I realized every company has a pattern, and you can see it. I saw it when I was young in a restaurant. Okay, you can see the beautiful restaurant because the customers are happy, the waiters are happy, the people that work there are having a good time, the owner is chilling with his friends, and then you have a restaurant where people are stressed. People are like, the customers feel it, the people working there are not happy. And I always wondered, what makes the difference? And I think in my life, I've been all of those people. I've been the stressed boss, I've been the exploited employee, I've been every role. And my mission became how to build companies that are good for people. What is the recipe? Because it's very clear. And I realized the recipe is everybody that feels part of this organization has a sense of belonging and meaning. And so then all of a sudden my question became, okay, if I want to create those kind of companies, what do they need? And you need the ability to bring everybody who can help together towards a shared mission. And as I started interviewing people and exploring this idea, I came up with a concept. And the concept was like the superhero. The superhero is not necessarily somebody outside of us, but it's a superhero inside of us. And I realized that some people, they discover their superpower and they dare to explore it. And some people feel, I'm too small to really do something. And then when you bring them all together and you leave the door open for anybody to contribute. And so I started writing these ideas into a book. But then I realized the ideas in this book are too big for just me alone. It should be an open book. Anybody should be able to contribute. And so I decided, okay, let's write a book that anybody can read and edit and change and complement.
So that's the idea of the decentralized book. It was the first time I confess that I heard about this idea. It was very interesting and appealing to me. O Stuart está a contar-nos a sua experiência, está a explicar que durante toda a vida construiu vários negócios e que uma das características distintivas que procurava era que as pessoas se sentissem bem, se sentissem felizes no seu trabalho e que, como também já esteve no papel, quer da pessoa estressada, quer da pessoa que estava descontraída, queria tentar perceber como é que poderia trazer essa experiência ao trabalho. E uma das formas que encontrou de o fazer foi, primeiro, entrevistar pessoas e depois começar a escrever um livro, o que se chama um livro não centralizado, um livro que permitisse a cada pessoa participar no processo, ler o livro, mas também escrever o livro, editar o livro. And how many years did it take you to come from that decentralized book idea to that superhero idea and then Meatball? What happened?
I think finding the exact start moment is hard because this has been in my mind probably all my life. But it became harder and harder to build new businesses because I felt like I need to find a solution. I need to find a recipe. So at some point when I realized I couldn't build new startups anymore, I started researching. And my research initially was just going to be a little memo for the team. My idea was when I build my next company, I want to share my ideas of how we work together. But the more I started talking to people, interviewing, I realized that every single human that achieves something amazing in life has one thing in common. They were lucky enough to have great coaches at any phase in life. And usually the great coaches are your parents or your early teachers. Everybody remembers the good teachers. And some people never had that experience. Maybe we're not all lucky. But then eventually you might encounter somebody, maybe one time by chance, that it changes your life. And my point is that these people exist. We have to find a way for them to emerge. And everybody deserves. So the first business I wanted to build was going to be a platform for coaching where normal people can help each other. This is maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was just a research project. And then from there, I started writing, interviewing, exploring. And it was only maybe 3 years ago that I realized this probably should have been a book. And I decided to complete it as a book. And when the time came to just, okay, I felt like I completed the research, it's all done, I'm ready to use these ideas. The most boring part started, which is actually polishing all my notes into a real book. And that's when I kind of decided I had to make a choice. Do I actually build a business using these ideas, or do I publish the book? And I felt, well, I'm not a writer. Even if I write a book, maybe nobody will read, nobody will discover it. So let me actually use those ideas and show that they work, and then maybe somebody else can write a book.
Estamos no programa Tessitura da Palavra, estamos a receber o Stuart, que é fundador do Meatball e também autor de um livro não centralizado, e estava o Stuart a explicar-nos que encontra em cada pessoa um super-herói e esse super-herói não está necessariamente fora da pessoa e que todo o percurso que tem feito desde que começou a escrever este livro, que queria que todos pudessem editar também, fosse também possível transpor para o negócio e que teve de fazer uma escolha. Ou publicava um livro ou realmente construía um negócio. E a escolha foi então, por achar que haveria mais visibilidade, fundar um negócio que é o Meatball agora. Stuart, Meatball is its name now. However, I know there were some issues, again with words, as it started, because it started at the Web Summit, right? Can you tell us that story?
Yes, the story of how this project started. Well, when I say I wanted to write a book or make a startup, the startup was not Meatball. I had a completely different idea, but I needed to find some people to help me build it. So in the week before Web Summit in Lisbon, I made a post on social media and I said, hey, I wish there was an app where I could write what I need so that people who can help me can find it and they can come and help me. And in 24 hours, hundreds of people replied saying, I need this thing too, let's build it. And so over the weekend, within 24 hours, all these strangers, more than 100 people, came together and we built a prototype. And because it was just a game, we didn't plan to do it for real, and because we built it to meet people at Web Summit, we called it Web Summit. And the next day, as we all gathered to meet in person, all these strangers that didn't know each other, to celebrate this beautiful journey that we had, Web Summit sent us a big cease and desist, a legal letter saying, hey, if you don't change, we're going to come after you legally. And at that point, I thought, the project is over. And somebody in the team said, well, we can just change the name. And then we rebranded it, and it became another name. And that's how the story began.
Stuart está a contar-nos como começou este projeto. Inicialmente não era um meatball, foi construído pouco antes, ou iniciou-se na altura da Web Summit, e então chamava-se The Summit. E quando, após 24 horas de construção, se conseguiu um protótipo, a Web Summit enviou uma carta legal a ameaçar que haveria consequências caso o nome não fosse, caso continuássemos ou continuassem a usar esse nome. Então alguém da equipa disse, vamos fazer um rebrand, and that rebrand was in 24 hours. So it was like the 24 hours timeline, right?
The story of 24 hours was like one after the other, because in 24 hours we built a prototype. In 24 hours, we rebranded it, which was a lot more complicated than it sounds, because when you change the name, you have to change all your social posts, especially when there is a legal threat. Then, in the next 24 hours, we said, well, we're crazy, we don't know each other, we're building a startup, let's raise $1 million in 24 hours. And on the third day, we were invited to pitch at a pitch competition, and before we even arrived, we already had investors willing to back us with a full $1 million. It was an incredible story. And at that point, we had to make a choice. Do we do it for real, or is it just an experiment? And at that time, I think all of us were just like playing with this idea. Nobody was really committed. We felt something magical was happening because the people coming were really feeling this power of tapping into helping each other. It was like something really, really special. And yet we said, okay, let's leave it as an open project. Anybody can take it and do something with this idea. Let's see what happens. And we all sort of walked away. And for a few months, we had this kind of like thinking period where we were thinking, everybody was like, okay, do we do it? Should we do something else? And I remember very clearly a few months after when I finally decided to commit to the project fully. More or less exactly a year ago. Yeah.
O Stuart está a dizer-nos que e a contar-nos como este projeto ganhou vida, portanto foi em períodos de 24 horas, em 24 horas foi construído o protótipo, em 24 horas foi feito o rebranding da marca devido à questão legal e depois em 24 horas havia um pitch para angariar fundos e esse pitch antes de ser completado pela equipa, já haviam investidores dispostos a doar $1 milhão para que a empresa pudesse surgir e começar o seu caminho. Nessa altura teve de ser feita uma decisão e essa decisão foi deixar o projeto como estava, como um projeto aberto a qualquer pessoa que quisesse continuar e ter um período para que todos os membros da equipa pensassem durante alguns meses. E tudo isto nasceu de um livro descentralizado ou não centralizado e nasceu também de uma questão legal com a Web Summit. And Stuart, what do you feel about the power of the words given all this path that you have made with Meatball and the team?
All right, the words. Definitely one of the most powerful weapons we have in our life. I think words as a tool, as a weapon, how do we pass it? Now, through radio. But then you have words inside us, the things we tell ourselves, and then the things we tell each other. And in the context of this project, my research on the book and then the startup, what became the mission of Meatball? Why did all these people commit to really make it happen for real? Because we discovered something very simple. When you dare to say what you dream, when you dare to share with someone else, what do you want to achieve? What do I need help with? It's such a difficult word to say for all of us. For me, like I struggle a lot. I think we all struggle. But when you dare say it, what I discovered with this project is that there is always some stranger around the corner that you don't know exists, that will show up and say, hey, I can help. And this energy is something that so many people have been feeling in this project. I want to say something about Meatball. We did not take the money from this investor, and we decided to try building it with zero money. And so now for 1 year, we have been building it with no funding. And yet we have hundreds of people that came together to help us. And someday somebody shows up, and Sarah, you yourself, you showed up, and you have been the heart of the community, really present and really helping everybody. and nobody knows why they're doing it, but yet it makes sense. And eventually we hope to make it into a real startup. But the beauty of just like sharing, using our words, first inside us to think about what do I want? What do I really want? What is important to me? And then putting it out there. Well, when you put it out there, I think every religion has some form of, if you ask, God or the universe or whatever you believe will deliver, right? And this is what I have seen happening for 1 year. If you dare to really put it out there, without fear, without shame, without worry that somebody might think something, you might just be surprised at who shows up.
Estamos na Tessitura da Palavra com o Stuart Cern, que é o fundador de Meatball, uma startup que está a iniciar com zero investimento e onde centenas de pessoas se juntam com vários talentos diferentes para dar vida a um projeto. O Stuart estava a contar-nos como as palavras são poderosas e como, sobretudo, o facto de assumirmos que precisamos de ajuda e a pedirmos, simplesmente colocarmos cá fora que necessitamos dessa ajuda, o quão transformador pode ser no percurso da comunidade e da própria pessoa. Stuart, what was for you the most difficult situation that you have experienced and in which you found that asking for help was useful?
I can think of many times where maybe I should have asked for help and I didn't. And later, in hindsight, I feel like maybe I should have asked for help. Well, by far, one of the most difficult has been Meatball, because literally I don't have any of the skills required to build this. It's a tech startup. I am not a programmer. I'm not a marketer. I cannot do any of this. So all I did is share my dream that this exists. And then everybody came. And I think there have been many times in my life. Like I remember when I was a teenager, putting my thumb out on the road, asking for a ride, hitchhiking, was so scary. And then it wasn't my words, but it was my hands. But it's the same thing. It's basically signaling what you need help with. It's always a barrier. Like, and I think sometimes it's a barrier because we don't really know if we want it for real. And asking, it confronts us with, is that what I really want? And sometimes it's because we are afraid of rejection or judgment. And that's the thing that we have to overcome. And I learned a secret. Maybe I can share it later.
Yeah. O Stuart está também a dizer-nos que uma das coisas mais difíceis com que se deparou foi mesmo a construção do Meatball, porque não tem nenhuma das aptidões necessárias para o construir. Não é programador, não é uma pessoa do marketing e, portanto, a única coisa que ele pode fazer para tornar esta startup real é pedir ajuda, que é o que ele tem feito desde o início deste processo. Outra situação de que se recorda é o facto de ser adolescente e andar à boleia, que era extremamente assustador. Ele não falava, mas assinalava com as mãos que precisava de ajuda e, de facto, foi uma experiência bastante assustadora. E agora está prestes a revelar-nos um segredo. So what's the secret, Stuart?
Okay, the secret. At least it's like, they say it's a formula that works for me, but I think it works for everyone. We have this voice inside our head that's telling us or what is right or what is wrong. And it's like the critic, and for some people it's very strong and it's the single biggest limiter. And I discovered a while ago that this voice can become your servant and it will do exactly you tell the voice to do. And so when the voice is telling you not to do something, it's trying to protect you because it's trying to make you stay calm, don't take risks, don't do anything. But the moment you tell the voice, no, I really want that, then the voice inside tells you, yeah, you really want it, go and do it. And just reframing and telling the voice what you want makes the voice make you go out there and say exactly what you want. And that's, to me, became the shortcut to everything.
A Stuart está a dizer-nos que o segredo é nós temos uma voz que nos faz distinguir de certa forma o que está bem e o que não está, mas que se realmente quisermos algo, nós conseguimos fazer com que essa voz se se adapte de certa forma àquilo que queremos dizer, quase como se fosse uma serva, e nos dê força para irmos atrás daquilo que queremos. Stuart, and what's the most amazing story that you have had with Meatball, with the app and also with the concept?
I think I have so many stories. The beautiful part of Meatball is that we are building it's a totally different platform to traditional social networks. So when you post something, you don't get any public comments, you don't get any likes. You just like people will see it and reply to you privately, and so it looks like a very boring platform. It's boring intentionally because the idea is that if somebody can help you, they will reply. I have discovered that 80% of people that post will find somebody that reaches out and says, I can help. Specific examples. Okay, 2 weeks ago, a guy reached out to me and said, look, I was in Lisbon for a week. I am thinking of moving here. I didn't know anyone. I made a post in Lisbon asking some advice regarding marketing. And for one entire week, all the people I met came because they reached out to me on Meatball. A few months ago, we had some people saying, hey, I'm building a platform for parents. I want to meet other parents to do meditation for children. And they connected and they had an amazing relationship. But these are very sort of intentional forms of help. The most beautiful discovery is that deep down, we are all the same and we are all struggling with the same problems. And so we put a little button on the app so that people can ask anonymously. And what we expect is that there will be a lot of spam and bad behavior. And we never had one bad post. What we had instead is actually people reaching out and saying, I'm struggling with depression. I broke up with my boyfriend. And there is always somebody who will say, I can help, or me too, I'm going through the same. And just this power of putting your things out there and finding out that you're not alone, it's like magical because it really reminds you that people are really going through the same journey. And if I can add one last thing, I know then it will be a lot to translate, but the most beautiful part is the way we built Method itself. This open startup attracted people from all over the world, people that don't know each other, and many of them from countries that are at war with each other. And what I discovered, this really energized me and the team to make it and to put everything else aside, is that when we have a shared mission, a shared goal, we will totally forget about our differences. So we'll get together to realize the mission. So the biggest power in putting out there what you want to achieve is that you find people that want the same thing and you get together. I think it's a recipe for hope for humanity.
O Stuart estava a contar-nos como funciona a plataforma, a Meatball, e é uma plataforma que permite unir pessoas com interesses comuns que podem ajudar-se umas às outras. Falou-nos, por exemplo, de pessoas que vinham para Lisboa, que não conheciam nada nem ninguém e que receberam ajuda no que diz, por exemplo, respeito ao marketing em Lisboa, e depois uma outra pessoa que pediu ajuda porque queria criar uma plataforma para pais para meditarem com os seus filhos e também encontrou essa ajuda. Mas no fundo, o mais importante é que somos todos muito parecidos e que até o próprio processo de constituir equipa uniu pessoas de países que estão em guerra uns com os outros, e isso é extraordinário. And Stuart, how do you see the phase that Meatball is in related to the phase you are in personally?
For me personally, Meatball has become my life for 1 year, to the point that I had to have a discussion with my family and say, my baby now is Meatball. It's like, because when you're building a startup, it's like it's in a phase where it's an uphill, and the ball is very heavy, and I have to keep pushing until we get to the phase where it will have its own momentum. So right now I feel like I'm carrying a baby, and the baby will hopefully grow and not be so focused. And in terms of how it matches where I am in life, I think, when you are building a startup, when you are the founder of a startup, it really is a creative process, very similar to making a painting or composing music. It's like there is something inside you. I think the creative process of all of us, it's just that there is something inside us that needs to come out. And my creativity has always been by thinking about things that don't exist in the world and manifesting them by creating ventures. So I would say to me right now, Meatball is my life. There is no separation between.
O Stuart estava a dizer-nos que para ele, neste momento, o Meatball é a sua vida. Portanto, que teve inclusivamente uma discussão com a família e disse: Meatball é agora o meu bebê. Não há espaço nem tempo para mais nada, e porque é o processo de criar uma startup é muito exigente e não permite a falta de foco. And Stuart, how about the decentralized book?
Yeah, I go back to it often because even for Meatball, we are sharing the recipe for how we build Meatball, and we call it the Meatball recipe. Many pages from the Meatball recipe are taken from a book, and I hope one day to finalize it. I have a lot of people asking me for advice. They are building companies that they want help in, hey, how can I use the same formula? I have a dream. How can I get people to gather around my dream and help me build it? I hope the book will really become a new way for people to collaborate and to basically bring out their superpower, because everybody has a superpower. Basically, the biggest thing is that we all have dreams, and we just need this kind of source, this inspiration. And sometimes it's somebody else to collaborate on a project, then we kind of find it and we go. So yes, I want the book, but after the startup. I cannot do two things at the same time.
O Stuart está a dizer-nos que o livro não centralizado um dia há de ser realidade. Neste momento não, porque não é possível ter as duas coisas ao mesmo tempo, o livro e a startup. And about you, aside from the project, do you use the words in any other way, like creatively?
So I have a practice every morning, or let's say most mornings, to write, and I picked it up many years ago. Maybe you hear how I speak. I'm very accelerated. I speak fast. I think fast, and sometimes I think faster, and I speak even faster than my thoughts. And then I have nothing more to say because I'm still thinking. And I learned that waking up early and writing on a piece of paper the stream of thoughts, whatever comes out, is the best meditation, because it forces me to slow down at the pace of the pen. And so this kind of slowing down and not caring about what comes out makes the most incredible things come out. And it has been a practice that I do for a long time. I started with a hard goal of writing 3-4 pages every day, but in reality, I always start with an easy goal of just start writing one line. And usually when I do one line, I will write a few more, but I don't get to reach it, but it really helps me a lot.
Em relação a práticas criativas com as palavras fora do âmbito da startup e do livro não centralizado, o Stuart diz-nos que tem por hábito escrever algumas linhas cada manhã, sendo que esta prática de não colocar julgamento naquilo que escreve o ajuda bastante a desacelerar os pensamentos e também a forma como comunica. And Stuart, why do you feel it's necessary to not be so fast?
I think time doesn't exist in theory, but we experience it. It's very linear, and there's a lot of things in a day, and there's only 24 hours, and it feels it's always a race to do everything and make sure you can fit all the pieces like a puzzle. And then sometimes I slow down and I look at a tree or a cat, and I think, like, they are there. The tree is there. He was there before I was born. He was there. He will be there when I'm gone. And I think slowing down brings a level of peace, inner peace. And it's like it's something that we have to balance, because we all have responsibilities and things to take care of and things to do. And you end the day with more things to do than you started in the morning. And this list will never end. And if we let that control our lives, we are in prison. And so somehow the ability at some point to draw the line and to realize, actually, most of those things don't need me. And I think that comes with a sense of peace.
Estamos na Tessitura da Palavra com Stuart Cern, o fundador de Meatball, e ele estava a falar-nos do facto de desacelerar intencionalmente e que isso traz uma sensação de paz, e também porque ao longo do tempo percebeu que muitas das coisas que nós corremos para tentar completar e fazer realmente não precisam da nossa presença, não precisam de nós. And Stuart, how is the communication within Meatball? Is it AI-based, human-based? How are the words in communicating with each other?
Purely human. I think in the age of AI, it's so important to really nurture what keeps us human. And we tried using AI to improve, because let's say if you need help, sometimes AI can help you articulate better. But we also discovered that the imperfection is actually what makes us human. And so it's probably better to take a deep breath, think, if somebody could help me, what could it be? If somebody would show up and help me, what could it be? Or sometimes even easier, because it's very hard sometimes to ask for ourselves, but like, if I know someone that could do with some help, who is it? And how could someone help someone else? That is a form of asking help for someone else. It's so powerful. I would say.
Em relação à questão de nos ajudarmos uns aos outros, o Stuart está a dizer que é muito poderoso não só pedirmos ajuda para nós próprios, mas também pedirmos ajuda para outra pessoa. E que a comunicação no Meatball é feita de uma forma totalmente humana, apesar dos recursos de inteligência artificial estarem à disposição, mas que na verdade é a imperfeição que acaba por nos tornar mais humanos. And did you notice any difference between AI-based communication and human-based communication on your metrics?
So far, all of our communications on the platform is human, for sure. But when we test it, what happens is AI-generated text looks nicer, but everybody knows it's written by AI. And then you know it's not a real person. And then you become less interested in... Meatball is not a platform for just asking questions and finding answers. Ultimately, the goal for us is to help people find each other, making connection with people that really care about the same things. And asking for what you want in your own words, it's so much more beautiful, because then I get a glimpse into who you are. How we use our words really kind of shapes us.
Em relação ao uso de inteligência artificial face às palavras escritas por seres humanos, o Stuart é da opinião que as palavras são aquilo que nos define e que também informam como comunicamos uns com os outros, e que o facto de usar inteligência artificial pode tornar a comunicação um pouco mais apelativa, mas que de facto a longo prazo torna menos interessante esse posicionamento para as outras pessoas, porque é uma plataforma que se destina a que as pessoas se ajudem, se encontrem e se ajudem umas às outras. And Stuart, how do you see the future for this project, Meatball?
We are still discovering exactly where this is most useful. I started the project at a conference, thinking thousands of people will need it. I then discovered young people in universities. They really struggle with making meaningful connections. Did you know 70% of people that go to events don't make a single connection? 1 out of 3 people that goes to a music festival, to the same concert, goes alone, enjoys the moment with a crowd, but feels lonely because they will go home alone. So people are craving to connect. And basically, I see the future of Meatball as the platform where, by sharing what you care about, by sharing what you need help with, and giving other people the chance to kind of come and find you, we will have an impact. I think this project will have a big impact if we manage to get the word out there.
O Stuart diz-nos que cerca de 70% das pessoas que vão ao evento gozam um momento, mas depois não têm qualquer conexão, ou seja, não estabelecem qualquer ligação com outra pessoa que vá ao mesmo evento, e que o mais poderoso é realmente encontrar alguém que tenha um interesse comum, alguém que possa estar também no mesmo evento, com quem trocar impressões, ou talvez encontrar uma ajuda de que se precisa. Stuart, I've heard about some stories with this platform. One of them that touched me the most was about a homeless person that was at Web Summit, trying to find shelter for a night.
Yes, this was probably the first day we launched the platform, and we had a little piano performance on the street. It was beautiful, and so lots of people gathered, including this homeless man. And he joined in, and he started talking to everyone, and he shared his story. And he had such a beautiful story, and it was like, that was an example of Meatball in real life. We didn't need the application. It was more like the moment. He shared his dream, and his dream was as simple as, I wish to find a place to sleep tonight. And so the people at the event, they all chipped in, everybody put a bit of money, and he had some money for food and for sleeping for the night. And it's like such a simple gesture, but I've seen it now probably every single day. People post what they need. And your start, can I share your story, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. So Sarah, as many of you might have heard, has been a key part of Meatball because she brings her love and her culture. But she's one of the kindest person I met. And I think your listeners probably know by now. Now, Sarah's life is not one of the easiest lives. She's going through a lot of stuff, a lot more than most people can handle. And she never asked for anything. She shows up in the community for 1 year with a smile, and she became the place for everybody to go and offer help. And then, just last week, she called me and she said, Stuart, I need help. I have a dream. I want to be a computer programmer. I am a computer programmer, but I want to expand to build tech for good. I want to build technology to help disabled people. And I've been admitted to this amazing course, and I don't have the money. Can you help me? And I was really touched because Sarah does not ask for help. And like me, and like many people listening, we never ask for help. But when you really need it, then you no longer think about it. You just need to go out there and do it. And so she found the strength and she posted. And it's been beautiful to see people replying. And actually, I would like to invite your audience. Maybe you guys listening should go to Meatball. It's meatball.fun. You can explain it, maybe, Sarah. Yeah. Because you will find there Sarah's post. And maybe you can also contribute to Sarah's project. It's a beauty. If there is one person in the world that I know that can have a positive impact in the world by building technology for good, it is Sarah, because she does everything from her heart.
Estamos então com o Stuart. Ele estava a partilhar também um pouco do uso que eu próprio fiz do Meatball para fazer um post e pedir um apoio para um curso para poder programar para pessoas com deficiência, mas e estão todos convidados a ir à plataforma e conhecer melhor também, e talvez também possam encontrar outras pessoas que possam também pedir ajuda e também encontrar a ajuda que precisam. So this platform, do you think it's a platform for mankind in these days in which everything is kind of tech oriented and products oriented?
So if we listen to what's happening on social media, we think humans are naturally aggressive and bad, trolling, comments, bad behavior. With Meatball on the platform, the extreme opposite came out because we discovered that people are actually amazing. They love to help each other. They crave to help each other. So we needed the platform to rediscover this simple thing. And then once you discover it and you bring it into real world, we don't need Meatball. In reality, we don't need an app. We should just be able to walk to people and say, hey, how can I help? It's the most simple advice I can give to anybody. If you want to start a conversation with a stranger, just say, hey, how can I help you? What's going on in your life? How can I help? Now, because we live in 2026 and we've lost a bit this ability to look each other in the eye and say hello and smile, the app is an icebreaker. So you go there and you post, and the beauty happens. That it's as simple as that.
O Stuart diz-nos que a grande vantagem desta app é permitir que as pessoas comuniquem entre si, porque em 2026 perdemos um pouco esta habilidade para nos olharmos uns aos outros nos olhos e tentarmos perceber, por um lado, qual a ajuda de que a outra pessoa precisa e também como é que nós podemos pedir essa ajuda e também dar essa ajuda. And Stuart, how can you lead a team that is not paid to do the job?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. The project started without any clarity, even inside me, as to whether it would become a real project or not. And part of my experiment was, what happens if you leave the door open for anyone to join? What are the social dynamics? What can we learn? And I can tell you what I learned. I learned that if you make space for people to emerge, a lot of people will reach into the room. And it creates a chaos, because I would always invite everybody to join these very open calls in which some people will say, this is a disaster, I'm getting out of here. This is a mess, like call me when you guys get organized. You know. But some people would say, this is a mess, and I'm going to organize it. They roll up their sleeves and they start putting the work to organize a bunch of strangers. Now, these people emerge as natural leaders because they are respected by everybody else who says, thank God somebody's bringing order to this mess. In this process, where nobody's getting paid and everybody's there because they love the mission, the way people collaborate is very different, because we are all here for the mission, and even if somebody does terrible work, the only thing you can say is thank you, because somebody gave up an hour of their time to help. And maybe you don't like what they did, but you're not paying for them. They're just here because everybody's doing their best, and that's beautiful. Now, as humans, we have to also find a way, because we have to manage our egos. Everybody wants to be on top, and then we have new people joining 6 months after the project started with a lot of fresh ideas and perspectives, so it can be very frustrating for the old people to make space for the new people. But sometimes the new people will bring some very good ideas. But sometimes the people with new ideas have to also respect that people have been there for a long time. And so basically, I always say, like in a radio, anyone can join, but the volume of your ideas goes up over time as people get to know you.
O Stuart estava a explicar-nos como funciona a liderança num contexto em que ninguém é pago para fazer o trabalho. Estamos a falar de um projeto em que é uma comunidade, sobretudo de voluntários, e diz-nos então que é difícil encontrar o equilíbrio entre, por um lado, as pessoas que já estão há mais tempo no projeto e que já têm a sua dinâmica, e por outro lado as pessoas que entram de novo no projeto e que também têm às vezes excelentes ideias ou trazem um excelente contributo, e também, por outro lado, sabendo que as pessoas não são pagas. Por vezes acontece alguém fazer um trabalho terrível, mas a única coisa que se pode dizer é obrigada, porque as pessoas estiveram a prescindir do seu tempo para doarem e para fazerem o trabalho que puderam e o seu melhor. Stuart, thank you very much for coming to the show. It was a privilege to have you, and I hope Meatball grows.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it, and I would like to invite your audience to go to Meatball and see your post and see who else they can discover, or even dare to ask what you need help with.
O Stuart deixa convite final para que quem nos esteja a acompanhar e a ouvir aqui na Rádio Movimento, programa Tessitura da Palavra, possa também descobrir a plataforma meatball.fun e também, quem sabe, encontrar a ajuda de que precisa, ou quem sabe, colocar o seu sonho, ajudar alguém. Muito obrigada a todos os que nos estiveram a acompanhar, uma boa noite e até daqui a 15 dias.